Well guys, my computer is completely restored and everything's working right, so it's time for me to make another review. Before I begin talking about the game, let me tell you a bit about the history of Crimecraft. Crimecraft was originally meant to be a free-to-play shooter with microtransactions, but then was switched to buy-to-play and pay-to-play. Then, they added an unlimited trial feature, which basically means it's F2P with an optional subscription. The thing is, you are very limited in what you can and can't do in the unlimited trial. You can't customize your character at all, for example. You just need to keep mashing the randomize button until you have something you like. Next, you are very limited in terms of your loadout. Many weapons you'll find have a lock to require a subscription tag attached to it, which basically means you don't have many weapon options to choose from. You can't craft, which pretty much destroys half the whole Crimecraft deal. Nor can you have more than one ability and one drug equipped at a time, which I'll talk about later. And then, even with a subscription, you can't perform any crimes. What? The whole premise is to be a criminal, yet you can't actually be one. All you can really do is fight against bots in PvE matches, and other players in PvP matches. How is that being a criminal? I don't know. Anyways, the graphics in Crimecraft are definitely top-notch for a free-to-play game, considering that it does run on the Unreal 3 engine, but for a retail game, it doesn't look that great. And another thing, the performance keeps on dipping every once in a while, so my FPS of 40 will go down to like 7 for 30 seconds. Not that fun, especially in the thick of a firefight. The game has a sort of post-apocalyptic look to it in its different playable maps, but on the large 3D lobby maps that have the vendors and such, the game has a sort of crime-ridden, dark and gritty look to it. It definitely has some style. In addition, the weapons aren't exactly normal. They're all sort of futuristic, which for me breaks a sort of criminal element, because criminals don't always have access to top-of-the-line equipment. The audio isn't that as good. The game is just quiet. There are no announcers to speak of. There are no quick chat options, and there isn't any music except for certain places that have the game's theme playing, which are in the lobby areas. The gunshot noises are fair, but that's about it. The gameplay is decent. The game is played in a third-person, over-the-shoulder viewpoint, where you can't jump. Though you can't jump, you can roll. Unfortunately, you can't mantle or vault over short walls and fences, so you'll be stuck between a rock and a hard place if you're faced with enemies and a fence is blocking you from them. Unfortunately, the guns you have access to aren't very good, with the assault rifle having terrible accuracy and recoil. The shotgun you get access to is pretty good, though. Even then, when put up against premium players, you're dead meat. The balance between premium and free-to-play items is terrible. Although one nifty feature is knifing. By hitting the E key, you can swing your knife in front of you. By sprinting with shift and hitting the same key, you jump and swing your knife downwards, making an instant killing blow if you hit the target. Crimecraft has various game types, ranging from Riot, which is essentially free-for-all, Shootout, which is team deathmatch, Robbery, which is capture the flag, except you need to actually take money from the enemy bank, then bring it back to yours. And then you also have PvP modes, where you run around the map and try and fight against bots, which are pretty good, actually, where you pick up certain crates that after the battle you'll be able to obtain different items from them that you can sell for money or use yourself for crafting if you are subscribed. Also, in the game's Riot mode, you can also find crates similar to the ones in PvE, so you'll find yourself fighting against other players to try and get the most loot. The game has an ability system. Every level you gain an ability point which you can use to purchase new skills and perks to use. Unfortunately, save for a specific few, you can't equip more than one passive or active skill, so you'll need to choose carefully. Luckily though, you can learn how to equip certain more powerful weapons such as the machine gun and sniper rifle, but the game probably won't hold your interest long enough to be able to anyways. The community is quiet. No one really talks, probably because the developers made it particularly difficult to communicate. There are no quick chat options when you're in a match, and when you're in the lobby area, text appears in a very crowded, very limited chat channel. In the end, the game isn't terrible. It has its moments, but still, they could have done way better. That's the other truth. Crimecraft gets a 6.1 out of 10, and unless you're really curious, I don't recommend you try it to sort of be a criminal just yet.